My words are offered in support of the Vigil's goal of unity, peace, respect, and healing. I tend to think of healing as the first step, one that enables unity, and then unity gives rise to peace, both within all of us individually and with our relationships with others. Thus, broken by the trauma of last week, the brokenness in our communities, our country, and the world, healing seems essential to achieve unity and peace and respect. The world's major faiths, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Mormonism, of course, all recognize that an essential step to healing is forgiveness of those whom we have perceived to wrong us. A common theme across the faith traditions is also that forgiveness flows from the divine, however we see or name that figure. But each tradition also views forgiving our transgressors as reflecting divine mercy. We are called to act toward others as the divine acts with us. In the Old Testament, we see Joseph, he of the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, forgiving his brothers and making a home for them in Egypt when their homeland is beset by drought and famine. In Luke's Gospel in the New Testament, Jesus says from the cross, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Jesus not only forgives his crucifiers, he asks the Father for mercy for them, forgiveness. UVU is a diverse campus, not only a community of diverse faith believers. It also includes those who have been hurt by faith communities, those who have walked away, as well as those who have never belonged.
We gather today in the shadow of profound sorrow and the light of shared hope. In this solemn moment, my wife, Paige, and my children join me in noting that our deep love for this institution, developed through 9 glorious years of living on this campus, has never left our hearts. In fact, that love beats today strong as ever. The firing of a single bullet on this campus last week left wounds, seen and unseen, in every direction. The first and foremost casualty was Charlie Kirk. His life, precious as is all human life, was cut short, and a young family is left to grieve. Our earnest prayers continue for the Kirk family. Additionally, this lone act of violence pierced hearts and minds everywhere, as well as the soul of this institution and that of the nation, and even the world in which we live. In response, it's natural and fitting for UVU to ask, can we possibly heal? Can we bridge the chasms of the disagreement among us? Can we reclaim some semblance of peace ruptured by this one despicable act? I'm only one voice, but the answer for me is yes. The first harbinger, or signal, of my hope for peace and unity is UVU itself. This remarkable institution was created to provide space for anybody who needed access to higher education in some form.
Good afternoon. Thank you to all the speakers and singers and every individual who made this Vigil for Unity possible today. Thank you to this beloved community, and I am looking at all of you, for your presence as we mourn. Thank you for your service and kindness in the last 9 days. Thank you for believing in hope and unity. Psalm 22 opens with one of the most heartbreaking verses in Scripture. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? Shock, grief, abandonment, fear, and hurt have filled our hearts since September 10. A father and husband was killed on our campus, a wife and children were left bereft, and thousands in our own UVU family experienced trauma. I express again my deep condolences and prayers for peace to the widow of Charlie Kirk, Erica, her children, and all of Charlie Kirk's family and friends. I express again my love for the UVU family that has been hurt. As I read my scriptures, I am astonished that the despair in Psalm 22 is immediately followed by the hope of Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. Yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. My beloved UVU community, surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives. I have seen goodness and mercy. Our community, though wounded, showed up to serve one another. We hugged each other. We offered trauma and mental health support. We restored belongings. Our law enforcement partners helped us feel safe again. Hundreds, if not thousands, offered prayers for peace, clarity, and resilience. We listened and gave each other patience and grace. Our friends, neighbors, and visitors organically created memorials, doing so peacefully and reverently.
The words we just heard, "Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now." What a powerful phrase, and what a much-needed plea in this moment. But let's be honest, peace feels so hard to talk about right now. How do we talk about peace when our hearts are heavy? How do we talk about peace when fear, hurt, and pain still feel so close? I believe peace begins with something simple, yet so powerful: hope. I don't mean a shallow or a surface level kind of hope that ignores the reality of the tragedy that happened on our campus, or the kind that just tells us to move on. I mean the kind of hope that we can find only when we willingly search the very depths of our souls. The kind of hope that tells us that even though we've all been through something dark, we know the sun will rise again. The kind of hope that doesn't erase our pain, but helps us carry it and turn it into something beautiful. That hope is what allows us to keep going, to reach out, to look beyond ourselves and see one another, not just in the easy times, but especially in these harder, darker times. This past week and a half has reminded me of how fragile life can be. In a couple of seconds, countless lives were changed. The tragedy on our campus has reminded me that violence doesn't just happen out there in the world somewhere. It doesn't touch me, but it can touch so much closer than we've even imagined. It has touched our campus. It has touched our classrooms, our friends, and our families. It has reminded us how deeply, in times of need, we utterly and desperately need each other. As many of us here, students, faculty, staff, community members, learned so unfortunately, is that when you're running for your life, scared, and not knowing what's going to happen, those differences between us that used to seem so big turn into something so small. Why? Why does it take a tragedy for us to look and see that at the end of the day, we're all human? Why do we wait for a wife and children to lose their husband and father to say enough? And how in a time of tragedy, instead of coming together, do we continue to attack and isolate one another? In moments like this, it can be tempting to close ourselves off.